at the 12 p.m. advisory today. Melissa did strengthen to 185 miles per hour as it was on the verge of making a landfall. The pressure was at 892 millibars. That is the third lowest pressure ever recorded. Melissa will join the 1935 Labor Day hurricane and Hurricane Dorian from 2019 as the strongest storms to make landfall. They all had 185 mile per hour winds at landfall. With almost 1,000 hurricanes since record keeping began in 1851, these three storms are always going to be the worst. Melissa's official landfall occurred at 1 p.m. near New Hope, Jamaica. Wind speed and pressure did not change. Now, before I show you where Melissa will be going next, I must first show you how hurricanes travel when there are no steering currents in play. These storms gradually turn. Their complete tracks typically replicate a letter C. Here is an example. This was Hurricane Erin's complete track from earlier this year. Take a look. The track replicates a C. Now, ladies and gentlemen, now I need to show you how lucky we were. This storm, Hurricane Melissa, had the ability to get close or even possibly hit our region. Take a look here at a storm I tracked in 2004, Hurricane Charlie. This is a very common track from a storm that got very close to Jamaica. You can see again proof of how gradual these storms turn. Now, here is the remaining track of Melissa, which set up a direct hit to Jamaica and spared the entire United States by traveling out to sea. The storm made a sharp right turn. When I saw this predicted track several days ago, I knew a cold front was going to steer Melissa. I now have only seen 2 hurricanes that were influenced by a cold front. This is extremely rare because during the majority of hurricane season, cold fronts cannot come into play. The last week in October is the only time this can happen. And Hurricane Melissa was about 600 miles to the south. So that region probably doesn't get cold fronts until November at the earliest. I am sure a lot of my subscribers remember Hurricane Wilma in 2005. This storm made a landfall over Cancun, Mexico. It then stalled out for several days over Cancun. It dropped from a Category 5 down to a Category 1 storm. A cold front swooped down south and grabbed Wilma and steered it into the southwest coast of Florida, and then hit Broward and Palm Beach County very hard. This storm was the devil when you consider why it hit our region. One of my hardest hits. I was without power for 2 weeks, and to this day, I am still aggravated because that storm was gone. The cold front was the only way it was going to come back. We're learning right now this is a rare event. That storm was steered into us by a front. The date Wilma made landfall was October 23rd. Melissa's landfall today is October 28th. We have now had 2 hurricanes ever that were influenced and steered by a cold front. One of them destroyed us with Wilma. The other one, Melissa, spared us, making that very sharp right turn because of the front set up little Jamaica to get a direct hit. 99 out of 100 storms would have went to the west, gotten to the Gulf, could have possibly did a Charlie track and wrap around and hit us, and it even could have traveled more to the north and got into the peninsula of Florida. I do have some good news that I can share with Jamaica's ridiculous hit today. The fact the island is 146 miles worked to their advantage because the storm made a landfall over the western tip of Jamaica. Kingston, which is the capital and where the most people live in Jamaica, is 100 miles from where the catastrophic damage is going to occur. Because typically when a storm is this strong, which again, this is the max, it could have been a lot larger storm. It was a compact, extremely powerful hurricane that I never want to see again.